essentially, there are things that are covered, and then there are things that aren't covered. What
Yes.
would be an example of something that maybe isn't covered? And would it have to do anything with like pre-existing conditions?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, you figure when things are brand new, the day after they're installed, things start going wrong. They start failing. So we will cover pre-existing conditions in an escrow process, but they have to be unknown. So if there was a leak behind the wall that nobody knew about, the inspector didn't catch it, there was no secondary damage anywhere anybody could see, we do cover unknown pre-existing conditions. If in the event it was called out in the inspection report and everybody knew it, that this was a pre-existing condition, you would expect that that would be taken care of before the close of escrow. The buyer would probably want that. And we don't cover those pre-existing conditions if they are known about.
Okay. So what would a process of like filing a claim look like? Let's say I'm Jose Morales. I'm a first-time home buyer.
Sure.
I just bought a home and I find out that the water heater is leaking and I don't know whether it's pre-existing or non-pre-existing. What would that process look like? What documents would you guys ask for, and what would that process look like?
We wouldn't ask for any documentation. We have an 800 number that somebody calls. Say they moved in and a week later they go out to the garage and sure enough the thing is leaking. We have an 800 number they can call, or they can establish an account online and actually place the claim online, which is really easy to do. They can also call me if they have questions. I can place a claim for them. Then basically the turnaround is that the plumber will call them to schedule an appointment. He'll go out there and diagnose it. At that point, he'll say if it is truly leaking from the water heater, there's no fix for that. So we will end up replacing it. Again, on a water heater, there may be some modification costs that we don't cover, although we have a new option now that will cover $1,000 worth of modification. So it's really, really good. We just got a new, some new options in the end of last year. But it's really easy to do.
Okay. And then at what
if they just want to place a claim on the phone, I mean, we have people that are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So let me ask you a question, like, because you said something about home inspection reports, that if it's unknown or known, at what point would you guys ask for a copy of the home inspection report to find out whether it was a known or an unknown issue?
That's a great question, especially if it's right after the close of escrow. If we're talking a day after the close and they're moving in and there's a lot of secondary damage. We may say, hey, listen, let me look at the home inspection report, make sure that this was all good. Knowing you as an agent, if you were in that walkthrough the day before the close, you wouldn't have closed escrow if that water heater was leaking. Mm-hmm. But, if they're moving in and a day or two later, I mean, stuff happens. It's common that this happens. So once we look at the home inspection report, if it is within a day or two after the close, and say, hey, the inspector cleared this, he could have said, this water heater is way past the end of its useful life, but it is functioning. That's all we need in order to clear this and not deny that water heater.
Okay,
so home inspection is very important.
Okay, so at that point, you guys would ask for it. What about for a homeowner that didn't just close escrow? Somebody that maybe has lived in their home for 10 years. What could they would you require any sort of inspection on their house prior to insuring them as a home warranty? So let me ask you, what protects First American Home Warranty from somebody virtually their water heater going out and then calling, hey, I want a home warranty, and essentially in a week filing a claim for a water heater?
Yeah, it's with a water heater, it's a little different because most people don't want to go without hot water for a week. So we generally don't see that. But, a couple of days after, sure. I mean, we have the availability of the tech going out who is looking at it saying, hey, this contract is 2 days old and this thing looks like it's been leaking for, 6 months. I mean, there's mold on the back wall. We can, we would deny it for that because it is pretty obvious it was a pre-existing condition.
Okay, so essentially, I mean, you would rely on the vendor to basically give you his input as to whether this is something completely brand new or something that was pre-existing.
Right.